Good evening, beautiful humans. I hope we are all well this evening, and if you're not, or you're feeling a little bit drained or just worn out or wanting to go to bed, and or your day's just started and you decided to watch this, I certainly hope that you have the resources, networks, and or the tools to be able to bring yourself back into a beautiful space of mindfulness and nice positive practice. There we go, you can see. Tonight we're going to focus on our fire element within our yin. So fire being our Manipura, so fire or Agni, so the heat within the body. We're talking about the third chakra, which is our solar plexus, so deep within the abdomen, just behind your belly button. If you've heard of our chakras before, this one is the yellow chakra, and it signifies heat, power, strength, your passion or desires, transformation, and of course, digestion being behind the large intestine. So when we work with our Manipura or heat, we could be stepping into, sometimes a little bit of what I feel a bit of dangerous territory, because that's where a lot of our nervousness, anxiousness, we feel that little intuition come into play, like those butterflies in the belly. If we are a little bit imbalanced or unbalanced in this area, we can look at, specific foods, or herb spices, and that's where heat being fire, we work with our spices, anything like your chili, cayenne pepper, black pepper, ginger, certain vinegars or cinnamons are really good ones, especially a good metabolite. And I think I said vinegars. So, if this is something that, interests you, for example, and you do have digestive issues, or you're kind of looking into that, your personality space, being someone that's quite passionate, creative, and authoritative, then this might be something that resonates with you. Our practice tonight is, of course, yin, which is a very gentle and slow practice, and where we're working with the connective tissues. If you are someone that thinks you're not very flexible, and or you do have certain injuries, high blood pressure, things that prevents you from doing those high energy flows, this one is beautiful for you. So I do recommend, you have props or bolsters. This one you don't necessarily need to have them, but it does make it a little bit more comfortable to be able to sit into those asanas. If you, this one is primarily a lot on our belly, or working on our anterior, so front of our body. Again, we can modify, if you like, whether it's using the chair, like we did last week, or you can use your lounge, you can be in your bed, so that way you don't have to be getting up and around to try and maneuver. It's obviously a softer surface, and beautifully, when you finish your practice, you can go off to sleep. So without further ado, I will start our session of our fire element, working deeply in our abdomen, Manipura, and also called, out of Yoga Sanskrit, our solar plexus. Excuse me. So to start our practice, bring yourself to your mat. You can use a bolster if you like. I'll show you multiple versions. We're going to work into our half wing. So you might bring yourself down just to take the pressure off the hips perhaps. Knees just gently touch into the ground. By all means, you can use cushions or blankets to soften the knees. You can bring a block to the forehead. One hand, so your left hand just rests, and with your right hand, we're going to bring it to the small of the back. If you are propped up, then of course you're going to have that elbow falling down beside the body. If you are completely flat on your belly, then the elbow is obviously just going to go as far as the floor will allow it to. Left hand just comfortable in a position that can balance you, embrace you, but also allow you to completely rest. And the beauty of being on our belly is you can see or feel specifically where you are breathing. We aim to push the belly out on the inhale. You should feel the rise and fall of the back of your ribs, your shoulder, your chest, and then the body lower as the exhale escapes the body. Relax through your jaw, soften through your brow. If you are flat on your body, you might even just use your forearm for your forehead. Allowing your body to just sink into the surface here. So just taking all the weight onto your bolster or into the floor, the mattress, wherever it may be. Using your ujjayi breath, so that compression of the tongue to the back of the mouth, breathing in and out of the nose. And you make a little hissing sound. Continue with those beautiful deep breaths. So drawing that breath in. Just when you think you have sipped in enough air, I'm sure there is more space to take a couple more seconds of breath and then exhale, release. Beautiful. Slowly release the right arm. Again, to wherever it is comfortable for you. And then that left arm comes to the small of the back. Let that elbow fall out to the side. Of course, again, if you're flat on your belly, you learn to go as far as the floor. But if you are raised up through your belly or your body, allow it to gently release and open through the shoulder blades. Just letting gravity pull that elbow down to the side. Just watch the fingers aren't kind of gripping or curling in here. Relax the hands, so even just a little wiggle of the fingers. Getting a beautiful vibration of Kundalini energy, just the rocking of the body where the energy is spiraling its way up. So if you do feel this throughout your practice, try not to stop it by forcing yourself to just be still. Allow the body to naturally move with that energy that wants to spiral. Use the floor, use your bolster as a natural mechanism of nourishing your digestive system, the organs, the large intestine. And take one more beautiful deep breath here. Again, just when you think you've breathed in all you can, expand through the back of the ribs, and then soften, release on the exhale. Allow that arm to come back through. And then from here, we're just going to roll ourselves to the side. You can hug into the bolster if you like. Each time we transition through yin, just like a sloth, so nice and slow and steady. So we're up for a broken wing, not literally. So keep that in mind, but the right arm is at 90 degrees, the knees coming together. Again, you can hug into the bolster here. All right, you can drop that head down, just the elbow to a point that supports the shoulder. So watch that it's not too high above shoulder line, so parallel out to the side of the body. Or you can go without the bolster altogether and maneuver your torso a little bit more square to the floor. Forearm as a pillow. And a gentle twist through the torso. So really working in that rotation of the spine. Again, flushing or flossing out, wringing out the belly. But of course, opening through the chest and the shoulder. And at first it might feel different, it might feel a little bit restricted. As long as there's no pain, this is a beautiful way to identify where we're holding that tension. So perhaps softening through the glutes, even though you're not directly clenching or squeezing your butt cheeks together, you might be kind of holding in the hips a little. Just allow the hips to relax. Maybe the shoulders, you might be pulling the shoulders back to prevent yourself from sinking into the floor. Allow the shoulders to rest. Let the head just be supported by the earth or your opposite hand. And again, just give the fingers a little wiggle. So watch we're not kind of gripping on to the surface here. Closing those eyes down perhaps. So we can soften across the brow, we can remove sight, the main information processor. Feeling that beautiful pranayama, that breath, the life force just filter through your body. The first time you've made perhaps a conscious effort to really breathe. Try not to force that exhale out, so no real deliberate squeezing of the belly to the spine or sending it with this pressure behind the breath. Just allow the body to move through its natural inhale and exhale, but just slowing it down. And taking one more beautiful deep breath. Sink even further on that exhale. And then bending through, slowly worm your way up. And then changing sides. So again, just nice and slow. Rolling your way over. So knees aligned the best you can. Left arm out to the side. Right arm as a pillow. Gaze wherever it's comfortable. If the spine, if the neck wants to stay towards the floor. Or maybe that left ear, left cheek, so heart meridian line, beautifully nourished here, energized, considered, taken care of. And as I mentioned, often sides are different. So if the left arm doesn't sit exactly like the right, modify as necessary. And or if you have any tenderness or restriction of movement in rotation on one side or the other, absolutely use your props, modify or adjust as required. Probably could have mentioned it before, but if you feel like you need a pillow between the legs, put a pillow between, or a block that runs up and down the shins, between the calves, just gives you that extra support. Take 2 more really good deep breaths here. There's no rush with our breath. There's no time limit. It's mindful medicine, the power of the breath. And then when you're ready, straighten out the legs. Bring yourself forward. And then from here, so again, you can use a bolster, you can use a stack of pillows, you can stay directly on the floor. Just depends here for your shoulders, okay, how much mobility you do have in them. So we're going to do a nice little crisscross, so the left arm comes underneath and then the right arm comes over top. And now when I look down from above, they're directly underneath each other. So watch they're not forward of your shoulders. And this gives you a little bit more access, and also you can target a beautiful compression through the throat here, and also takes the pressure off the hips. But allowing that head to drop down, test and adjust where you're at. The chin gently resting on the outside of the upper arm. Or if you do have more mobility or movement in the shoulders, you can bring yourself to the floor and let your entire upper body weight draw itself down with a beautiful gentle extension through the lower back. So relax through the hips. Relax through the hands. Each exhale, you might find that little bit more space, so just gently adjust. Release through the jaw, let gravity just kind of bring the head down to a point where it's comfortable. Really good wing opener here, beautiful for the chest. And of course the solar plexus directing straight into the floor, Mother Earth. Really work that breath deep into the back of the shoulder blades, your wings, let it expand. Soften in that exhale. And then, like a little worm, just wiggle side to side, dragging the arms out from underneath. And then change sides. So the right arm now comes underneath and the left one comes over the top. Chin towards the left tricep. Just check you're not holding into the glutes or the legs. Direct the breath deep into the belly, into the abdomen.
Just listening to the sound of your breath and the feeling of the heartbeat underneath your chest. Few more breaths here, just really sinking in from the shoulders, the back of the spine, through the lats, the hips, even the toes. So what you kind of not like actively just pressing into your feet, just let them flatten out, heels to sky. And then when you're ready, just worm your way through. So you bring yourself up. Give yourself a good little stretch out here. As you roll on up, maybe a beautiful little cat stretch. Feel into the neck. Maybe a little cow stretch, let the belly open up, let the spine extend, the tail wag, and maybe even the throat. And then we're going to go into a half melting heart. So that's keeping the hips nice and high over the knees. Again, if you need padding, for example, or cushioning for your knees, grab a pillow, soften the load. Another pillow or a block for your right hand. And then as you come down, left hand comes underneath. Forehead to forearm. Just opening through that right shoulder. Let the tail point towards the sky. Just letting that belly hang and fill up with breath as you inhale. Taking the pressure off the back. This is a beautiful one if you do sit at your desk for the better half of the day, or standing over benches if you're in the kitchen. Round it over, whether it's manual labour, desk work, you name it, driving. Beautiful, slowly release. You can also do this off a chair, so facing towards the lounge or any form of seat. And then changing sides, breathing out as you make your way into the asana. Soften through the shoulders. each time bring conscious awareness to releasing and shifting into that space that makes way for you to be able to transition, to change, to nourish, grow, replenish, lengthen out. When you're ready, bring yourself back through. If it feels comfortable to be on your knees, go for it. Just give yourself a little hug, maybe roll through the shoulders. You might want to just draw the hands behind the back and now open through the chest. Before we move into our beautiful dragonfly. So again, if you need to raise your seat up here, sit on any cushions necessary or pillows. You can even do it again by sitting on a chair or sitting on the edge of your lounge seat and modifying again as necessary. You bring the feet out as wide as relevant for you. Again, use pillows, use the bolster, whatever it might be that can give you height or support. And as we haven't done a lot of hamstrings, of course, allow yourself the time. So again, I can't reach the bolster yet, and that's okay. But use your hands forward of your body as nice little tripod legs. We allow the hips to gently roll forward. So we're pouring our hips forward like we're pouring out a bucket of water. With each breath, I'm sending it directly down the back of my spine, my lumbar. Feel it through the glutes and travel out through the hamstrings. Now my nose is to the bolster. This is where you can see beautifully how the connective tissues feel safe, nourished in order for the muscles to be relaxed, to let go. So then our ligaments, tendons, fascia, joints can feel a bit of freedom. So again, just allow yourself to come to what we call a therapeutic edge. I'm pretty much at it now. Definitely not pushing to the point of pain or through pain. Every now and then you might hear a bit of a click of your spine as it cracks if you rotate, or the ankles or the knuckles, the wrists. That's just air or air pockets, gas pockets being released. More if it's a relief that happens, but not necessarily painful. But if you are trying to push into a space that has not been created yet, and that is that real excessive pulling, maybe if it's through the hamstrings, it could be through the lower back, could even be just that loading and dumping into the shoulders. That in itself is creating pain, which is like not what we want. The body's telling us, hey, pull out of this. Give it time before you venture there again. The body's not ready for it. course, it takes time, it takes practice. But as we become more aware of our body and in tune with its little messages, or how we send the breath, or where we release that tension, how we're letting go of certain facets within the body, we can begin to break down walls, open up doors, inevitably improve our flexibility, improve our heart health, our head space, our physiological reactions, and of course our physical capacity, so the flexibility within the body, the mobility of the body, the alignment or the biomechanics. So just from the start of the practice of Dragonfly to now, I am supported wholeheartedly by the bolster. My legs have widened probably 2 to 3 more times than what I started with. Like I said, it takes time. Understand the hip roll, where you're resisting or holding back. And trust of the body, trust in the mind. So as delicately as you went into the Dragonfly, bring yourself out. Do be gentle. The hamstrings are probably like, get me back in. And so from here, we come into our final posture, our Shavasana. And so here, we're going to have bent knees. Okay, we're going to bring the feet to the width of the mat. Draw the knees together. There we go. Need to rotate through there. Bit tight in the knees there. Just wanted to have a bit of a click. And then draw yourself down. So again, if you do feel a little bit of an unevenness or something needs to pop in a healthy way, a good release or pain. So where there is that capture of air or gas within the joints. Windscreen wipe of the knees perhaps. Then TP the knees. So feet width of your mat, knees together. And to start, bring the arms up overhead. One hand on top of the other, so right into the left. Cross the thumbs over. Close the eyes down. You can be supported by a pillow underneath your head if you like, or be flat on the floor. You can also be propped up by your bolster. Make a little ramp, giving yourself some height, especially if you have low blood pressure, if you have a pacemaker, if you are pregnant. Keep yourself on an incline. Give yourself those big, full belly breaths and just let the belly soften back down. Hopefully hearing the little gurgles, the grumbles, where the body is digesting, extracting. Maybe the first time in the day the belly has been rested, relieved of tension, as opposed to being compressed by sitting forwards or being held in or tensed if we're standing up, trying to suck it in. any stage you feel that there starts to be a little bit of tingling through the fingers or the arms because they are above your head, then by all means that's your cue to bring them back down by your side, or rest them gently on your solar plexus, our Manipura, and allowing you to find a stillness. As you balance and align yourself back to your Agni or your fire, think about the personality or the traits that you are and where you may be potentially in abundance, but or in the excessive amount of fire. You know, a lot of fire essentially burns things and we can lead to burnout. We can feel quite scattered. So if you've lost your passion or elements of creativity, where you've essentially lost your mojo or drive to recreate, and perhaps we're sitting a little bit in too much of the fire element, too much giving of support to others, loss of that intimacy perhaps. Just that heaviness or that dull feeling in the belly. And think about food intake of late and fluids and what your immediate environment's been like. And if you wish, have a look at what you may be able to let go of. What may you be able to shift, and the things that you can't control, how can you remove that from your immediate focus? The demand or the need to continue to maintain that control even though it's out of your control.
Shavasana is a timing very unique for you, especially on a practice that you can go at your own pace. Remembering through yin as we work through our feminine energy and our left side of our body. As you slowly progress yourself into gentle movement and bigger movement, work your way to your left side. It's always important we allow ourselves to gradually and slowly come up out of Shavasana, being lying down, heart and head level, to then gradually increasing that height as opposed to sitting directly upright. May your heart be open, may your voice be free. May you dance like no one's watching and free the butterflies through your belly. Find your passions, your creation, your power and your strength. Through your seat you will be grounded, and through your feet you shall walk paths that lead you to destinations always desired. And draw your hands to the third eye between the brow and honor and acknowledge divine light, Mother Nature and all her creations. Namaste. Blessings to all of you beautiful souls. May you have an amazing and nourishing evening, morning, day, wherever you may be. A nice kind reminder, there will be online yin for next week, and then there'll be a break for 2 weeks, and those that are local to my area, find out online that we will be back at the Soul Nook face-to-face once again. So 5th of October, I truly look forward to hopefully seeing you there, and until then, namaste, take care.